This is Pasi Anfas 3:5, the unknown dimension. The breath is a light in itself, and it becomes projected like the beam from a searchlight thrown upon an object. When the breath is coarse, undeveloped, it is full of material atoms which dim its light. But a developed breath is sometimes not different from the light of the sun, but even brighter than that. Breath being a light from another dimension which is unknown to science today, it cannot be visible to the ordinary physical eyes. The glands of the physical eyes must be cleansed and purified first by Pasi Anfas, before the eyes can see the light of breath. What people call the aura is the light of the breath, but it is not everyone who sees it. A radiant countenance is proof of an aura which lightens it, and the lack of it is the lack of light in the breath. A seer sees a sign of death more clearly and longer beforehand than a physician can. The reason is that the seer sees in the aura of a person, whereas the physician sees only the condition of the body. There is a belief in India that there are some cobras that have light in their head, the light by which they find their way through the dark. They make a hole in the earth miles long and illuminate the hole by their own light, which is centered in their head. As two wires, positive and negative, cause the electric light to manifest, so the two currents of breath, Jalal and Jamal, when connected in a head in the way they ought to be, cause the light to manifest. Many experience the phenomenon of the light of breath and yet doubt if it can be true, for they think it is perhaps a figment of their imagination. Others, who are incapable of seeing that light, confirm their doubt. The Sufi, by developing of breath, experiences this light, which becomes for him or her a proof of the existence of that dimension which is unknown to the ordinary world. So Murshid says here that the aura is the light of the breath. It's a light, but not a physical light. It is not a light that can be seen by ordinary vision, and yet it is a light nonetheless. It can be seen when one has developed one's vision by spiritual practice, by cleansing the eyes. And Murshid refers then to the subtle centers, the centers and the channels, the nadis. The central nadi being the sushumna, the left and right nadis, the ida and pingala, as three channels which converge behind the middle of the eyebrows in the ajna chakra. And that in the convergence of these channels, when these channels are awakened by meditation and become luminous and clear and purified, when the breath is purified, the subtle center in the forehead is clarified and is stimulated and aroused. There is a dormant faculty, a vestigial sense that is otherwise asleep and inactive. But when activated through mystical exercises, then through one's vision, a deeper, finer vision awakens, and one begins to experience the light of one's own aura and the light of the auras of others. Now, even without this activation of the subtle seeing, even with one's normal glance, one can see some of the manifestations of the dimness or brightness of another person's aura. If the aura is very bright, then that person's countenance is going to reveal that in the very expression, in the very lineaments. There's a freshness to the gaze. On the other hand, if the aura is overshadowed and dimmed by negligence and the weight of distraction, then it registers also in the face, in a kind of contraction of the face and a dimness of the countenance. So one can see something of the luminous body of others simply in the expression. But beyond the expression, when the Ajna Chakra is more and more active in Sufism, the Latifa Khafiya, then one actually registers the auras of others in glimmerings, in shimmerings, in sensations of light that you encounter when you meet other people. And you feel that activation in your own luminous body in moments of phase change of state. So in this way, one sees, whereas one has hitherto seen the world only on the surface, one sees more and more into the depths, the multi-dimensionality of a universe of light and sound that is vibrating and radiating on multiple levels. And then life becomes more and more musical, much less prosaic and bounded, because when you witness light, then you witness the boundaries no longer remaining as rigid and separative. Everything is mutually reflective, mutually resonant, and awash in the celestial light. So this consciousness, of course, goes very far in ameliorating the rigidity of the selfish, narrowly circumscribed ego. Just one's very visual sensation, subtle visual sensation, contradicts the claim of separateness,